Here it is, almost everything you need to know about planning your ultimate Okavango Delta adventure in under 5 minutes. Okay, you've decided you want to venture to Botswana to experience the world-famous Okavango Delta. Where do you even start when it comes to planning? Don't worry, we've got you. First, budget. We've been fortunate enough to go on safari in other parts of Africa, like Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. In comparison, this is definitely the costliest of the experiences. One thing to note though, there are cost-effective options such as choosing a different time of year or accommodation. And also for most camps, everything is included in the daily rate, including food and drink. But overall, it was definitely pricier and totally worth it. Now, where to stay? There are a number of all-inclusive camps situated throughout the Delta. They offer luxury tents or thatched roof huts that definitely do not skimp on the amenities. Bear in mind, each camp may offer different activities based on their location and the time of year that you go, so make sure you do your research. In addition, there are campgrounds throughout the Delta available for those looking to self-transport via 4x4 and also those looking for a more budget-friendly option. When booking international travel, it is important that you abide by the destination country's entry requirements. As of January 2024, U.S. citizens are required to have 6 months of validity remaining on their passport, as well as 3 or more unused pages. On the right side, no visa is required for stays up to 90 days. One thing to note though, if you are traveling from a country where yellow fever is endemic, you will need a yellow fever vaccination. For up-to-date requirements and travel advisories, make sure you check the U.S. Department of State's travel website. We've included a link in this video's description. Another step we take when planning is checking the CDC's travel website for any required or recommended vaccinations. It is always important that you consult with a medical professional for any medical advice. After a consultation with our doctor, we decided to get a prescription for malaria prevention as well as traveler's diarrhea, as we were up to date on our routine and travel vaccines. Next up, when is the best time to travel to the Delta? Well, that depends on what you're looking for. The dry season is considered to be from May to October. This is when the water levels are at their peak after flowing down from the highlands of Angola, so most camps have a full offering of activities. Additionally, there's little rainfall, as the name suggests, so activities may be more enjoyable. One thing you will have to contend with is larger crowds, as this is the high season for tourism. With that being said, camps also raise their rates during this time, so it may be harder to find a good deal. If you're looking for lower rates and smaller crowds, you may want to look at traveling to the Delta during the wet or shoulder seasons, which is between November and April. You may enjoy the Delta's incredible landscape and thrilling activities in a relatively small group or even by yourself. However, one thing to note, the weather can be quite unpredictable with times of heavy rain. The water levels are also in recovery from the long dry season, so some water-based activities may not be available during this time due to the lower water levels. Once you decide when you want to go, you have to figure out how you're going to get there. With the Okavango Delta being such a remote location, you may be required to take a number of flights to get there. Most camps in the Delta are only accessible by small aircraft. Whether it be by plane or helicopter, you will need to do your research on luggage allowance. We used Safari Air to reach our camps, and they had very strict luggage restrictions. Since we do not travel light, we were able to arrange with our tour operator to have our larger luggage stored during our Delta adventure. So definitely look into this option if you were like us. Up next, let's talk travel adapters. It's always the small details that get us. Not all countries have the same outlets that you may be used to in your home country, so it's important that you come prepared, especially when you'll need to recharge your camera batteries after a long day of capturing Africa's magnificent creatures. For Botswana, you can find types D, G, and M outlets. Having a universal travel adapter can come in handy when you never know what you're going to get. Money, money, money! Since most camps are prepaid and all-inclusive, we found very little need for cash outside of tipping and a few incidentals. We found it wasn't necessary to have the Botswana pula on hand, as the US dollar and South African rand are widely accepted. Additionally, our camps took most major credit cards for gift shop purchases and the helicopter safari excursion, which was an additional fee. More on that later. Speaking of excursions, we are at the best part of travel planning: what to do when you get there. There are a wide variety of activities available based on where you are staying. For land-based camps, we highly recommend heading out on a game drive. There is nothing more spectacular than sitting side by side with Africa's majestic creatures. I could just sit and watch the lions all day. If you're looking to get even closer to these beautiful animals, join your professional guide on a bushwalk. Not only are you walking the same paths as the elephants, lions, warthogs, and antelope, you can see the up-close realities of their world. We found evidence of a recent lion hunt, various types of scat, or poop, elephant, and lion tracks, as well as a herd of elephants crossing the landscape. It was truly surreal to be walking through their habitat. Now, if you're at a camp situated at a water source, such as a river or lagoon, you have the opportunity to take in the wonders of the Delta via motorized boat safari. During the dry season, animals tend to congregate close to these water sources, so you never know when you're going to turn a corner and find elephants stopping for a quick cool-off or a drink. As you travel along the waterways, you will notice a plethora of bird species. I swear, we saw every bird that ever existed. This is the ultimate destination for birders. If you're looking to take things a little slower, taking a Makoro, or a carved-out wooden canoe, through the Delta waterways is a must. This is a unique experience to the Delta, and it is not to be missed. Your guide will stop along the way so you can take in the views or locate the tiny frogs that call the Delta home, as well as the other wildlife. Lastly, the absolute highlight of our Delta experience, the helicopter safari. As mentioned previously, there's an additional cost for this adventure, but it's totally worth every penny. Fun fact, we had never been on a helicopter prior to this experience, so there was a little bit of nerves going into it. However, the second we rose up over the Delta, all that fear melted away. The views are astounding. We saw hundreds of Cape buffalo, elephants, giraffes, antelope, and more birds. We could see it all. You don't really appreciate the beauty of the Delta until you can fully take it in from above. One thing to note, our pilot was very cognizant of the animals' behavior, so he would adjust our route to ensure that there was no stress placed on the animals. If you're looking to take this thrilling adventure, check with your activities desk at your camp to see if and when this excursion is available. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel for future adventures. Happy planning, the world is waiting!